Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This time it is a Blu-ray review of Maximum Overdrive. Now I did a video long ago saying I was uneasy about the Blu-ray, which is funny because actually I don't know when, a few days ago or a week ago, I got a comment from a guy saying, "Oh, you hate the film? Fuck you, I'm a truck driver." And I'm like, you didn't watch the video, did you? I was uneasy about the Blu-ray because I am a fan of the film. I did a fan commentary like 2 years ago. I am one of the biggest fans of this movie. So, no, you're not. So, those the idiots you did on YouTube. But I was uneasy about this because I didn't want this film to be trashed. Because for decades, this film was called one of the worst films ever. Stephen King calls it the worst adaptation of his work. And I'm like, this is the same guy that praised Cell with John Cusack. I ranted on that piece of shit. You want to talk about a piece of shit? This is not a piece of shit. Cell is a piece of shit. Of celluloid. That's a goddamn movie where a football field full of people have their mouths open while the fucking troll song troll la 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 la. That's a scene in the goddamn movie. Everyone on a football field, their mouths open, and that fucking song plays out of their mouths. And Stephen King likes that movie. Maybe he needs to get back on cocaine, like when he did this film. I know it's his opinion, but I think his opinion's full of shit. So, that's my opinion. But I love this movie to death. I did a fan commentary on this. Why do I love this film so much? Because this is my kind of movie. This is not a guilty pleasure. This is not, oh, I think it's so bad it's good. No, I sincerely love this film because it's fun. And movies are not fun. Well, a lot of movies are not fun today. They're pretentious. The guy who was the little kid Deke, he said it best. It's a film that's not trying to be deep. It's a fun popcorn movie. And that's what it is. If I see a movie called Maximum Overdrive, I want to see cool trucks like the Green Goblin. I want to see people get hit and go splat. I want killer vending machines. I want rocket launchers. I want Emilio Estevez. I want guys going, what the fuck going on here? I want AC/DC music from beginning to the end. I want Who Made Who. I want fucking Marla Maples, Marla Trump getting smashed with watermelons. I want killer lawnmowers and ice cream trucks. I want kids getting steamrolled. I want my fun in the sun. And this film is fucking fun. It is fun. That's why I love it so much. Now, get into the Blu-ray, because this is a Blu-ray review, not a review of the film. It's Vestron Video, who have done a good job on the stuff I've seen, like the Waxwork 1 and 2, that was really good, Choppy Mall. I will say that my worries were not as confirmed as I feared. It was better than I thought it would be, although with a slight few hiccups. Overall, I would say, for a guy who was uneasy on it, if you're a fan of the movie, pick it up. I got this at Walmart. It was 25 bucks. First off, this is a great cover. Whoever did this cover, that's a beautiful cover. Definitely one of the better covers I've seen the homemade for a Blu-ray. That's a kick-ass cover. You got the Dixie Boy truck stop back there. Green Goblin right there front and center. I do wish there was a reversible artwork, maybe of the Emilio Estevez, the VHS cover, which I do have that fan Blu-ray, and I'm going to keep it too, which does have that cover. I do have a slip cover, but it's in the other room. So maybe I'll put that cover on here and then put the slip on. But it's a cool cover. And just, that's what the back is. Now, the picture quality looked fine for a film from 1986. I honestly didn't notice too much difference from the bootleg Blu-ray that was sent to me. Maybe a tad better. But it's not, oh my god, it's, humongous difference. But compared to the DVD, it is a step up. The audio, did not notice any audio problems, like the Unnameable and Lionheart and some of these other releases. The audio is fine. The features, you do have a trailer, you have a couple TV spots, you have a steel gallery, a couple minutes of behind the scenes from back in the day. You have 2 commentary tracks. Let's get to the one that I fear the most, by actor-comedian Jonah Ray and Blumhouse film executive Ryan Turek. Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was okay. They do a little bit of riffing on the film, but you do get a feel that they are fans of the film. I guess it's sort of like when I watched the film, yeah, I don't know why their car, Yeardley Smith and John Shorts, why their car isn't turning on and going crazy. So again, there's a little bit of riffs here and there, but it's not Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's not as... That was the one I was worried about the most. And of the 2 commentary tracks, that's actually the better one. I don't know if I'll listen to it a lot, but it wasn't them calling the film a piece of shit every 5 minutes. Again, you do get the feeling that they are fans of the film. And yeah, granted, there's a couple riffs that I disagree with them on, but I keep repeating myself. It does seem like they are fans of the film, because they keep using that word, fun. And they even mention, I like that these people take this film seriously. I don't like it when they are in on the joke or whatever. I was waiting for them to say Sharknado, but that's a prime example of that. I think they mentioned like Piranha 3D, but I think they were talking about 3 Double D because they mentioned David Hasselhoff. Like that, doing it in a bad way. And I just see what they mean by that. Because that movie sucks and this movie's good. And this movie does have a sense of humor. People just didn't get it. It's a fun popcorn movie. That's what you should. And I agree with one of them. They mentioned that what happened, I think it was them, the advertising was wrong. Stephen King, no, I'm going to scare the hell out of you. That was the wrong advertisement. It should have been, here's a fun popcorn movie. Let's have AC/DC music in the trailer. Honestly, You Shook Me All Night Long should have been the music in the trailer. I just honestly promote it as an action movie with one-liners and humor. If this was promoted as an action movie, I think it would have worked out better. But it has a sense of humor. When one of the first scenes is Stephen King going, "This machine just called me an asshole." The other commentary with writer Tony Magistrale, author of Hollywood Stephen King, and then Michael Felsher, who is in on a lot of commentaries, is a guy asking the questions, the moderator. This commentary sucked. I'll say right here, that commentary fucking sucked. I don't really see the point of it. I don't really get the idea behind it. Because the commentary, all it is, they go through the adaptations based on Stephen King stories. And it's pretty much 2 guys giving their opinions on some of the movies, and I'm like, why should I give a shit? I don't give a shit about these two guys' opinions. They had nothing to do with making the movie. This is literally something you and your friends can do on Wikipedia. In fact, I'm sure I've done it once with my friends. I don't know if we recorded it or if it was. You just go on Wikipedia and talk. Hey, Carrie. And of course, they give high notes to Carrie. They give high notes to The Shining, The Dead Zone, The Shawshank Redemption, Misery. I was surprised they give good notes to Silver Bullet, which I appreciate. But they're not really giving much facts or behind the scenes information. It's really just, so in 1985, we had blah blah blah, and then they once in a while go a little bit into Stephen King, like, oh, it's a mistake to make a film out of a short story. I really disagree with Michael Felcher on some of the stuff. Like, he's a fan of Sleepwalkers. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of that one. And then, like, Graveyard Shift, he's like, oh, it has good atmosphere, but it has a lot of problems. I disagree with that. He's like, well, that's one of those films, you shouldn't be making a film from a short story. The short story of The Graveyard Shift fucking sucked. Here's some rats, they get eaten, the end. So, yeah, and they mentioned Graveyard Shift for like 30 seconds. So I disagree with them on that because that's one of my personal favorites. Children of Corn, they didn't seem like fans of. Cat's Eye, they didn't really talk much about Cat's Eye. They mention it, but they don't really talk about it. They do talk a little bit about Creepshow. I'm trying to think now. Dolores Claiborne, they talk a little bit about that. Stand By Me, they talk about. At Maximum Overdrive, they pretty much trash it. Like Michael Felcher, he's one of those, oh, it's so bad, it's good. I'm like, and then the other guy, he just, because he looks at it as a comedy, and I'm like, I think it's purposely supposed to be fun and black comedy, but I actually like the film, so I disagree with him on that. The other guy, Tony Magistrale, he just absolutely hates it. So, like, this is all in a commentary. This is on Maximum Overdrive, and they pretty much say the movie's shit. So, again, why the fuck? This seems like something that should have been a podcast on YouTube, not a commentary wasting space on a Blu-ray. Go ahead and take a listen to it if you want, but really, again, it's like going to Wikipedia, look it up on. They don't go through all. They go through some of them. Hey, what do we think about Terry? What do we think about this movie? So I will never listen to that again. There's no reason for it. And the author of Hollywood, Stephen King, he didn't really bring anything to the table. Like, what did we really learn from listening to the commentary? Not really anything. So that commentary was pointless. You have Truck Stop Tales, interview with producer Martha De Laurentiis. It's about 15 minutes long. It was okay. She doesn't trash the film or anything. She seems like a nice lady. I think she was also on the interviews for Silver Bullet, if you get the Blu-ray of that. I think someone mentioned there was a Blu-ray of Cat's Eye, which I would like to pick up one day, and she might be interviewed on that too. But like, she seems like a nice lady, and she's not trashing the film. But if you really think about it, after you watch the interview, think to yourself, what did I really learn before I watched this interview? Pretty much anything that you already know. That they were making films in North Carolina, starting with Firestarter, that Stephen King wasn't happy with some of his adaptations of his work, so he wanted to direct. Uh, Money was spent mostly on the trucks and getting all the semi-trucks. She tells a little bit about. It's one of those things. I'm getting sick and tired of this shit where people are like, this is before digital. If people don't know there was no digital in 1986, I understand you're doing a review for a film and you're trying to be thorough, but people who don't know that need to learn a little bit about movie history. It's fine if you mention it once, but some of these people who like in this one, they mention it constantly. This is before digital, so you're trying to erase the. Because a lot of times then they go into, oh man, if we made this movie today, don't stop there. It would not be better if you made this movie today. Hell, years later, look at Trucks with Timothy Busfield. Or don't, please, just watch my rant on it. Piece of shit. You want to see a bad movie of this? Watch Trucks. But what else did she talk about? The movie's made for the audience, not for the critics. And how years later people are like, oh, you made Cat's Eye? You were part of Maximum Overdrive? And about how stuff was cut out for the MPA and they really went for the gore. But again, did you really learn anything from this interview? Not really. So, again, seems like a nice lady, but in one ear, out the other. Rage Against the Machine interview actress Laura Harrington. This is like 9-10 minutes long. Looking very different today. She looked nice back then, but very prettied up. She talked about how she was green, meaning she didn't have a lot of experience. How when she saw the film, she wasn't really sure about her performance. She goes into this little thing about AI and machines today and how Stephen King was ahead of his time. At least, she doesn't trash the film either. Like Martha De Laurentiis didn't trash the film. She tells a fun story of being with Emilio Estevez, and then someone knocks on her door, and it's Tom Cruise. And he knew Emilia was visiting set, and then they took Laura Harrington to go boogie boarding. And also about how some of the crew were Italian, and they were used to working on films where they had to dub everything, so they would talk while the actors were trying to work and do their scenes. So little things like that. It is a short interview, 9 minutes, but yeah, I think in those 9 minutes there's also footage of the movie interwoven into it. So it says 9 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's really like 6-7 minutes. So a little thing. Honeymoon Horrors interviews with actor John Short and actress Yeardley Smith. John Short, really cool to see him nowadays. Really liked him in the movie as Curtis. He talks about getting the role, working with Yeardley Smith. He talked about how hot it was, how there was a moment where a truck was coming towards him. He's supposed to dive out of the way, and something fucked up, but thankfully it went the other way. He still did his stunt like he was supposed to, but it went the other way. And then like a day or two later, the guy was supposed to be the stunt double for him said, "You're not doing that ever again." And Yeardley Smith, I mean, out of all the people interviewed, she's the one that you could tell she's just not a fan of the movie. Like John Short even mentions how I saw it yesterday and he was even better than I remember. But Yeardley Smith, eh, she talks about how the film breaks its rules, and if it breaks too many rules, then the audience will be mad at you. But like she brings up the sailboat thing, like, well, how come the sailboat isn't killing us? I'm like, it's a sailboat. You do know there are some sailboats that don't have motors in them, right? Yeardley Smith. I believe in the dialogue, Emilio even mentions it's a sailboat. There's no motor on it. That's why they went there. And then it's never mentioned on this, but if you looked it up, apparently there's going to be like a gunboat, like a boat with some type of weapon on it. That'd be like the last action scene. I don't know if that's true, but apparently it was in the original script. No one ever mentions that in this, in any features, but that's on there online. So, I just read Yeardley Smith's opinion on it. I'm surprised she even talked about the film, to be honest. But it was cool to see John Short. I'll be honest, I could do without the Yeardley Smith portions, but John Short, it was cool to see him, cool to hear his opinions and his experience on making the film. I thought that was cool. One of the best ones is Maximum Carnage, an interview with Makeup Effects creator Dean Gates, which actually, that guy he left a comment on my video. Why I'm uneasy about Maximum Overdrive Blu-ray. He left a comment, which was really cool. He's like, I was interviewed, and he was really nice about it. He's like, yeah, he was really cool. You can find his comment on that video is still there. And I'm not saying it's the best. It's one of the best ones just because he left a comment on my video. It's because it's really interesting info about the effects that were gone. Like the guy who gets hit with the soda can, and like scanners, it was not explosion, but it's supposed to be this vein, and it would go up, kind of like the veins and scanners would go up, and it'd go up to his head, and then bits of blood would fly out. And there's still pictures, but no footage, sadly. And they also showed the picture of the Bible salesman, because I always heard his face head was falling off. So for some reason, I imagine like somehow his entire face was coming off. But he talks about there is a still picture. It's like a flap here, like a flap of skin, and this bloody flap of skin, and then here it'd be like the skull. So that was cool to see that still picture. You also had the still picture of the guy with a chainsaw on his neck when the little kid is riding his bicycle around. Also, he talks about the steamroller on the kid. Tells about that scene. And it's sad that footage is gone. Let's face it, it's gone. It'll never be seen again. But it was cool to see. You don't really get still pictures of the steamroller bit. Like the blood explosion or anything. Which is too bad. But really good interview. A lot of interesting info. So, and he seems very proud of the film, which is really cool. It talks about being excited getting into Fangoria magazine. So that's definitely one of the better ones. A Kid in King Arthur's Court interview with actor Holter Graham, who played the kid. Again, one of the better interviews. He tells about how he went up for Stand By Me, and he also went up for, I guess, Silver Bullet. And before that, he went up for a film with Kevin Kline and Sissy Spacek, but he didn't get it. And they led to him auditioning for Silver Bullet and Stand By Me. And he tells about how he got the role for this, the sequence with the vending machine, how I guess they had like some kind of air gun to shoot out the sodas, and the soda cans were foam. Talks about doing the scene with the steamroller, this how that all happened. He tells about the scene where he's bicycling and sees all the carnage that was done in backyards, so that the public wouldn't see all the dead bodies and such. How Emilio snuck him in to see Repo Man, which is pretty cool. And he talks about seeing the film, and again, he said it best: it's a fun popcorn movie, and that's what it's supposed to be. So it's like he gets it. So I appreciate that interview. I'll look back at the film in Metro Overdrive, the Wilmington Factor. This is about 30 minutes long. It's the longest interview portion. A good chunk of this was pretty good. It's interviewing locals who worked on the film, and they talk about how they worked on the bridge scene. They talked about how the Dixie Boy truck stop was built up, how when they blew it up, there were businesses nearby that the roofs like caved down because of the explosion. It was too much explosives used. They talked about one thing I've noticed now that I think about that. They never mentioned the cocaine. And I guess they're like, well, we don't want to be rude to Stephen King, and we don't want to. But no one really mentioned it, which was surprising. I guess because they don't want to get in trouble, or they don't want to get sued, or maybe they thought it'd just be too rude. I'm just surprised that all the actors and such. It's like no one noticed that he was, or they're too nice and they didn't want to bring it up. But you're not being mean, you're just being honest. And if that's what honestly happened, you can say it without being rude. But no one brings that up, that Stephen King was coked out of his mind. Go figure. I thought some of these guys would bring it up, but no. The guys who worked on the production crew in North Carolina. But yeah, they talked about how for a certain amount of time, that was the place that companies would go to film movies. In fact, I think parts of the 1990 Ninja Turtles film was filmed there. I believe it was. Probably like the farmhouse and things of that nature. But then there was no more tax write-offs, and then businesses and studios went more to Atlanta, Georgia. So then the well dried up for people trying to find work in North Carolina. I didn't really appreciate the end of it though. Like I was really liking it until I got to the finale of that interview. Because then quite a few people just talked shit about the movie. Like one guy compared it to Plan 9 from Outer Space. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? You're comparing this to Plan 9 from Outer Space. Another guy, maybe you could like it so bad it's good. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this is what I was worried about. Thankfully, a lot of it doesn't do that, but again, the end of it, I know it's their opinion, but like I said, I don't care for their opinion. There's a shitload of times people don't care for my opinion, so I can say the same thing here. I don't care for their opinion. But, what can you do? So I didn't really care for that. But the rest of it is pretty good. Maybe, if you watch it, when it gets to like 5 minutes left, or 6 minutes left, just turn it off and go to another feature or something. Who Made Who? An interview with Murray Engelhart, co-author of AC/DC, Maximum Rock and Roll. It's like 5-6 minutes long, And again, when you put the footage in there, it's only a couple minutes. And really, it was kind of pointless. Like the interview with producer Martha De Laurentiis. Kind of pointless. I mean, pretty much the guy going, sales were down a little bit from AC/DC. They were not selling as well as they used to. They didn't really do soundtracks until, hey, Stephen King's a fan of theirs, so let's do this. The Who Made Who single really helped them, helped the band kind of reinvigorate. And the album as well, but especially the single Who Made Who seemed to help them out. But they don't really go into too much detail of how the songs were made. Let me put it this way. If you have the Shocker Blu-ray, how they talk about the soundtrack, that was much better. Here, again, just sort of a third party saying, oh yeah, Who Made Who was a good song. And, like, he doesn't even talk about the score, like the AC/DC doing a score of the film. How that was interesting or different or unique. I mean, you can guess what their inspiration is for, but to hear it, again, it was kind of a pointless thing. Literally, if you watch it, by the time you leave you leave to leave a piss, you come back, it's done. So I don't expect much from it. Goblin Resurrectus, the restoration of the Happy Toys Goblin, this was pretty cool. It's one of the better ones. It's the guy who, he got the Goblin. It was burned up from the ending of the film when they blew it up. And he had it in a video store, and then he rebuilt it. Talks about how he rebuilt it. I mean, pretty much goes from place to place and charges people to take a picture. Hey, take a picture. Here's $10. Or here's 20, I don't know how much. 10, 20 bucks, I don't know. Man. He restored it. He's going to get his money back. There you go. Granted, that's the part in the back of my head. It's like, is this really him doing it just to... let me tell people, come to conventions and pay me money. But I mean, that's the cynical part of me of, don't trust anybody. Chapter 1, page 1. Trust nobody. But it was a really good feature. He seems like a good guy. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I've never met him, never experienced. But based on the featurette, he seems like a nice guy. It was cool to see that the Goblin is still out there. The truck is still out there. It'd be cool to take a picture with it one day, but I'd never get to a convention, so that'll never happen. But it's cool that it's still out there. It's a piece of movie history still out there. It's not part of a semi-truck, it's just the head itself. I'm surprised no one has done that to their truck. Maybe it's illegal to do that. But someone who drives a semi-truck, like that one asshole, is like, I'm a fan of the film, you're not a fan. Oh yeah, you a fan? Do you have a Goblin on the front of your truck? If you don't, then you're not a fan, so go fuck yourself. But why haven't they made a toy of that Goblin semi-truck? You know how they made like Optimus Prime and all that? Why not make a Happy Toys truck and a semi with the Green Goblin on the front? Maybe they can't because it's Marvel, Green Goblin, Marvel. Maybe that's why. But someone did that Dave Glover Predator one, so who knows? Maybe one day we'll see that. But it'd be nice to see something of that nature. I mean, the guy's making T-shirts with this face on it, so he could get away with it. But it was still a fun feature. Again, he does seem like a good guy. And, congrats on getting it and building it back up. Like I said, glad that it's still out there. Again, trailer, TV spots, behind the scenes footage, and still gallery. So I know it's a long review, but hey, this is one of my personal favorite movies. I'm fine with going in depth on the Blu-ray. I would say if you're a fan, pick it up. Cool cover, couple of good featurettes. I would say the best ones are Holter Graham, the kid, played the kid Deke. Interview with the makeup effects guy. The interview with the Happy Toys Goblin restoration guy. And then the John Short portion of the Honeymoon Horrors. And the women, the interviews with the crew members are cool until the very end. So until like the last 5 minutes, again, that Planet from Outer Space remark really bugged the fuck out of me. Again, I know his opinion. I just think his opinion's wrong and full of shit. The feature about AC/DC, pointless, really. Pretty much who made who was good. And it did well. The single did well. Wow, thank God, you had a whole featurette to tell us that. Laura Harrington, I don't like the actress Laura Harrington. That's another thing. She keeps mentioning they should do a remake. Actress Laura Harrington, no. If they did a remake, it'd be Trucks with Timothy Busfield, or it'd be a bunch of CGI trucks, CGI blood, and they would do like Sharknado. And I did see Sharknado like a month ago because I rented it at the video store, and it was a piece of shit. And I didn't review it because there's nothing to say. Because if I write it, what do you expect? This tornadoes made of sharks. It sucked. I saw the second one too because they had it there. That sucked too. Overrated pieces of shit. And not funny either. I'd rather watch Piranha 3 Double D, which is a piece of shit, over the Sharknado pieces of shit. Or watch none of them and watch this. And I don't think this is so bad as good. I think this is fucking good. So no, I'm sorry, Laura Harrington, a remake would be bullshit. Unless Michael Bay did it with practical effects and R-rated. Honestly, that'd probably be the one film Michael Bay could not fuck up. But who my kid's Michael Bay? Of course he'd fuck it up. I take back what I said. I take that back. Anyway. Great Blu-ray for... Good Blu-ray. I won't say great, good Blu-ray. Better than I thought it was going to be. Well worth the purchase. I'm glad to have this in the collection. And yeah, it wasn't too much downing on the film as I thought. There's a couple moments that but overall, yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse, but not too bad. There's little bits and pieces, but like I said, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. Other bitching about the film, and I'm thankful for that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.